only hope that he does turn heel one day. You know, I'm kind of losing hope now because it is looking like the replacement of John Cena, where they need someone for the kids to rally behind and will always uphold like the righteous. But I'm just sick of that. I think WWE needs to become a bit more edgy, and they need to sort of shuffle things up a bit and rearrange who they're going to look at, because I think Roman's more than that. I think he's more than just like who they see as the potential face of a company.
Right.
Because if they gave him another extra dimension and gave him a little bit more of an edgy character, he could really take off. I mean, I know he's got a lot of heat already, but that just like adds a little bit more fuel to this like potentially great heel character he could become.
Yeah, and we all kind of want that. Well, we've been wanting that for the past 2-3 years, haven't we? But yeah, I felt like maybe for the first time WWE weren't doing that sort of over the top, trying to get Roman over type thing. But listen, I've said this before many a times. I'm sure if you go back on the old podcast, Roman Reigns, without a question, Matt. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Probably the most talked about sort of thing that we've ever had on this podcast, especially from our listeners as well. It always creates some sort of debate with him, for sure. But WWE is still very keen on that idea. Matt, just before we finish this subject, what did you make of? Do you think there is going to be a stipulation of, if the Undertaker loses, he has to retire, when Roman Reigns threw that out in the segment with Shawn Michaels? Do you expect that to be a stipulation, or do you think that's just that was just thrown out just for that segment because of what happened with Shawn Michaels?
Oh, getting to some dodgy ground here, because I remember at the end of last year was throwing out our end of year predictions, and I did kind of say that this could be Undertaker's last year. And as much as I would like my prediction to actually stay true, I would actually not like it to come true, because I've grown up with the Undertaker. I can't say that I want to see him go, but at the same time, there comes a time when you have to bow out under your own terms and actually look pretty good in it. I think although Undertaker has been a massive, massive draw at WrestleManias, his performances are on the decline. So I know he's got problems with his hip, and he needs some surgery with that. So if this was the year, I would totally respect that. And if it came down to that stipulation, it would be a good thing for Roman, in fact. And it comes down to that thing I said earlier, when you've got to give a little something back to the business. Although a loss at WrestleMania, your second loss, coming off of the loss that you had at Brock, and then you got to take another one to Roman. It does wonders for Roman's career. And at 30 years old, Roman has about another 10 years that he could go in the business and still be pretty strong. So I think that would be something nice to leave behind. And I'm not just saying I know Roman's got a lot of hate, and that will generate a lot of heat, but if anyone's going to take it, why not the most talked about guy in wrestling right now?
Yeah. Well, for me personally, as a fan, if the Undertaker the Undertaker, let's face it, he would have earned the right now, Matt, especially what happened last year against Shane. He would have earned the respect from everyone, including Vince McMahon especially, if he's not satisfied with something, the way he goes out, I'm pretty sure the Undertaker will have the last word. So if he wasn't comfortable doing a job, he would definitely be saying it. I just think that's the way the guy is. With this match, if Roman, I don't have a problem with Roman winning this, providing one thing, and I think you know where I'm going with this, Matt. Roman has to be heel, because if he retires the Undertaker, first and foremost, that puts all the major heat on Roman. I mean, you will not be more hated than that. The guy that finished the most respected wrestler in WWE for God knows how long is done by this guy that nobody likes. And it could be worked so well with the timing of it. What I wouldn't like to see is Roman winning. In a clean. I mean, I don't have a problem with him winning clean, but kind of having a bit of a. I mean, I think if he's going to be heel anyway, you're going to have something dirty in it. But I think if he won clean, and it's all about sort of where we are every year with Roman, trying to get him over again, and then you expect him to go out on Raw the next night, and everybody's going to be like suddenly, oh, hang on a minute, this is our guy. Forget the Undertaker. It's Roman Reigns. Like, it's just not going to work, and I'm not interested in that whatsoever. If anything, if they do put a retirement stipulation onto this, I guess, Matt, there's always the possibility that the Undertaker could just win. And you know, that would be interesting to see how people would react to that. Maybe, just maybe, that would be best for Roman if they don't consider this guy being a heel, and they, you know, for some unknown reason that none of us can explain why they want to keep him babyface. Then my suggestion would be you have Roman go toe to toe with the Undertaker. He's almost there, but he just doesn't win it. But you certainly wouldn't have him retire in the Undertaker or something like that. I just couldn't see that going down well. But I think if you had a hard-felt match and Roman comes up short, I think it sort of shows he's human, and that people might kind of prefer that rather than just seeing Roman just plough through everybody like he does at the moment, mainly him and Goldberg. So leaving that there, Matt, the other WrestleMania story coming up is obviously our other fear. Looks like it could potentially be happening now, Matt. And you know, I know you know this one. Shane McMahon now seems to be somewhat of a WrestleMania attraction. It could be 2 years in a row, Matt. Not only did he get The Undertaker last year in a Hell in a Cell match, now we're talking about probably the wrestler of 2016, AJ Styles. Honestly, this is incredibly... it seems really ridiculous that we're having to talk about it, but this does seem the way they're going to go, Matt. I mean, you know, when you watch SmackDown last week, I mean, we're going to see what happens later tonight, but this seems like WWE has definitely had this in the plans, and you know, we've heard this rumour for a long time. So obviously, someone thinks it's a great idea. What about you, Matt? I mean, do you think anybody really is going to put heat? The fans are going to really boo AJ against Shane in particular on this one?
No, I mean, I've got to speak from my personal experience. I don't think that Shane should go over as a face on this one, because the amount of respect that AJ has in the business now is great, because he really is like the indie darling, like the true one, because he has gone out there, he's proven himself in every promotion, he's won gold in every promotion, he's been the top star in every promotion, and it's not because he's the biggest guy, and it's not because he's the most charismatic guy, it's because he is the best in the ring competitor. And that's what really kind of cheeses me off. It's how can Shane McMahon stand in a ring opposite AJ and feel like he deserves to be there? We're talking about the best wrestler. If you name a number of years, AJ was probably the best wrestler in those years, and just down to pure dedication and passion for wrestling. And I know Shane McMahon has it in his blood, being Vince McMahon's son, but AJ operates on a different level. He was born to be the top of the business, and that's what he is. And I just can't see someone like Shane McMahon, although he is capable of great matches and actually putting his all into it. I just think at the age of 47, it's kind of hard to put yourself in the measuring stick of the industry that is AJ Styles. I can't believe that WWE seriously want to go this route again with Shane McMahon, and I do really feel that this is a complete waste of AJ Styles. In fact, I know we've seen this match a ton of times, but I'd rather see John Cena and AJ one more time than this, and have another match between those who really and truly aren't doing a lot between them. I really feel they've done wrong on this one. Also, Matt, what's confusing about the whole AJ thing is obviously as confusing as the main event, one of the main events, the WWE title match between Bray and Randy.
a month ago, Matt, we were talking about the idea, the prospect of some sort of triple threat match going on. That looked very likely. It looked like it was going to be Luke. They then put AJ. Then this happens. It's very, very confusing as to know, like, if this was planned, who the hell came up with this? Who thought this was a good idea? And, really, you think about poor old Luke Harper now. What has that done for him out of this? I have no idea. Very poorly executed, Matt, in general. Just to go on now to the WWE title match, I think this match on paper looks good. I'm not going to deny that. I do think the match itself can be good between Bray and Randy, but the way it's got there, Matt, very, very confusing. I'm not sure I buy the storyline of Randy Orton. I don't get the emotion off of this. I think it's very constructed. It's not. It's nothing like amazing. That turn when it happened, I thought, well, it's not even come at WrestleMania now. We've even got that before WrestleMania. So it seems like I thought the original idea, the reason they wanted a triple threat match was because they felt maybe the turn was too early. Now I was wrong about that because obviously they've done it anyway. What do you think about this, Matt? Because again, this is another one of those matches. I'm thinking to myself again. I know that Randy Orton done that whole thing with a segment, but it was so over the top. Do you think many people buy into the storyline of the Wyatts and the family? And considering Orton's only really been in it not even a full year. I mean, how much attachment can we get with this? And the match itself. What sort of anticipation is there for this match, Matt? Going in for you.
I think that this is a little bit of a flawed storyline here because, for one thing, we've had Bray become champion at Elimination Chamber, which is not great, really, because we're talking about WrestleMania here. If you're going to achieve greatness, you should do it at WrestleMania. That's where the history is made.
Uh-huh.
But we've seen Bray given that a little bit premature. And granted, on that fact, they have to offer the fans something a little more at WrestleMania now. The only way I could see any salvation in this entire storyline is if there was an actual emergence of this sort of fictional Sister Abigail,
right.
That she isn't actually dead and that she is a live person and that they're actually going to bring her into a story.
Yeah.
That might actually grab some attention.
Mm-hmm.
But as it is right now, Randy Orton just burning a bit of mud in the middle of a hut somewhere, and that's supposed to be dramatic. I don't see it so much. I think Randy Orton has had some better storylines in the past, like he did with Triple H. Mm-hmm. He got to a whole, different level of personal. But, doing what he's done with Bray and just gaining his trust and then, diminishing his followers. We don't even know what is up with Eric Rowan, by the way,
Yeah.
And I hope that isn't a factor in WrestleMania because Eric Rowan has never really actually gotten that great of a response from the fans. Mm-hmm. I don't think WrestleMania would be his moment to actually inject himself into a match. That would be a really bad cop-out for a match. And, I can only pray that don't happen.
Yeah, it's some of those ones. I've wanted to see Bray in this spot for a long time. I'm glad he's going into this as a big deal for a change. He's not doing something silly, but I can only hope, Matt, in a lot of ways that my hope is that Bray wins this. However, he has to win it, even if it's smoke and mirrors and there's loads of craziness going on. I think for me, Bray, if you look at his track record at WrestleMania, he's been in there against the likes of Cena, the likes of Undertaker. He's had to kind of, he's kind of put those over. If you look what happened last year. He was in there with The Rock, done that segment. I feel like this has to be his year, surely, to get a victory at WrestleMania and try and cement something going forward. Otherwise, I feel like this is somewhat of a month's transition all for nothing. So I hope that sort of plays out well in for his case. Okay, let's talk about another type of storied thing, and people are blowing hot and cold with this. Jericho and Kevin Owens, obviously